Okay, so now it's your turn to try to bend light or prove that light bends. The materials that I have today to do this little demonstration, I have a marker, I have some white paper, and I have two glasses of water here. You can see this cup is actually square on the bottom and then it moves up to a circle, and then I have a big circular glass. Either of these are going to work okay for your experiment. I already tried it and I already found something out, so in just a second I will go over that. But when you're drawing, so what we're going to do is we're going to draw two arrows, and I took a piece of white paper and I folded it in half, and I folded it in half this way, and I'm gonna turn it up like this. So you want it to be like a book, but I'm gonna do it like this. And I am going to draw two arrows on it. Now, depending on the size of your glass, this is what I found out, depending on the size of your glass, you don't want your arrows to be too big, okay? So I had, when I was testing this out first, I had drawn an arrow and on a piece of paper, and with one of my glasses, this bigger one, it worked great because this glass was bigger and my arrow was much smaller than my glass. And with this glass, this experiment didn't work so well because when I held it up, my arrow was about the same size as the bottom of the glass, so it was too big. So I mean, it still worked, but you couldn't see it very well. So I suggest if you have a smaller glass, definitely keeping your arrows a little bit smaller. The water inside the glass also acts as a magnifier. Things look bigger when they're in water. And so since my arrow was pretty much the same size as the glass already, and then it magnified it, it just made it hard to see the light bending. So I'll show you what happens after, but let's do a successful test run first, and then I'll show you what happens when I drew my arrow too big. So I have my sheet of paper that I folded in half, and I am going to go ahead and draw two arrows. I'm going to draw one in the top half of my paper, more towards the top, and I'm going to draw one more towards the bottom of my paper. And this is not an art project. They don't have to be perfect, but they do have to be pointing the same direction. And that is part of what we're going to do to show the light. So you can see here's my arrow. It's not perfect. It's kind of lopsided. It's okay. It's going to work great. And then up here, I am drawing this more towards the top a little bit because my glasses are a little bit taller. If you're using a short glass, you don't have to draw it too big to the top. But okay, there you can see that I have two arrows, and I kind of lined them up, but they are both pointed in the same direction. That's really important. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to move my camera down a little bit so that you can see my glass of water here. And the trick is that I'm going to take this and I'm going to lower it straight down. And what happened? My arrow, you can see one, it definitely changed directions. But do you notice how my arrow gets longer depending on how high up I have it because of the size of the glass? And if I scoot it further away, you know, it changes more. Or if I use the water as like a magnifying glass, if I get closer, it gets bigger. But look at the direction of the arrows. They have changed. That's because the light that is coming into your eyes has been bent when it hits the water, and it changes the direction of the arrow, and that is called refraction. So you can see it is not a trick. I don't have another piece of paper, There's only one piece of paper. Okay, you can see, just like that. Another way to do this is to fill up the glass while you have both the arrows there. So let me switch. I'll switch and get my other glass for you. I drew my arrow a little smaller. Let's see. Okay, but you can see it's a little smaller. If I scoot back, it works. Okay, but you can see that because of this glass, if I put it like up close, if I put it like really right up close, then it doesn't have a chance for the light to bend. But out here, the light is bending it, and you have to get kind of far away for it to work. This glass is not too big on the bottom. It's only maybe 2 inches on the bottom. That round glass is definitely a lot bigger. But when I first tried this with my purple arrow, I didn't even do the other one at the top, but when I first tried it with my purple arrow, you can see like it works, but it doesn't work very well. And then I have to get like way back here. So when you're doing this, you want to be on the front side of this glass. I can see it because I'm looking at the computer, and the computer is filming from the front side. And so when you do it, you want to be in front of the glass, and you want to bring your paper down behind it. You may have to have mom or dad help you bring the paper down behind it so that you can get far enough away and put your paper far enough away. But you can see that it does, it does work. But I'm pretty far, my paper's pretty far away from the glass right now. And I don't know if I was holding it out in front of me, if I could get it far enough. I can't stretch that far. So you may have to have mom or dad help you, and you can tell them move it closer or move it farther away. And if your parents don't know about this trick, you can tell them, mom and dad, watch what I can do. I can make this light bend, and it is going to flip the direction of my arrows. It's funny to get other things. Anything can work. You don't have to just use arrows. Playing cards, the image will flip. Words would be backwards. I hold it up to my face. I look at you this way, but my head moves the other way. The same thing. The light was bending through the glass. I hope you enjoyed this little experiment. Please be careful with the water glasses. They do need to be quite full for this. So be careful with that. And it will work in clear plastic. The image may not be as clear if your plastic is not as clear, but it definitely needs to be clear water and clear glasses. Colored glasses or colored plastic is going to make it a little bit harder to see. If it's colored and clear, it would still work, but it'd be hard maybe to see whatever object you were looking behind there. If you put different objects behind there and they look really funny, take a picture of it and post it in the Nearpod. I'd like to see your funny pictures. I hope you enjoyed my light bending experiment.